The gender. International relations and global politics have long been studied as if women were invisible, as if these issues were matters for men alone. Feminist thought rejects this notion and insists that social relations are gendered, meaning that the role of gender is essential for understanding them. The experiences of women differ from those of men, and global politics is far from neutral. The feminist movement has passed through several stages. The first wave, in the early 20th century, focused on basic legal and civil rights, such as the right to vote and the right to education. The second wave, during the 1960s and 1970s, expanded to demand full political, social, and economic equality for women. The third wave and those that followed became more complex, recognizing the diversity of women's experiences based on race, class, culture, and geography. Feminism is not a single unified school of thought, but rather encompasses multiple perspectives. Liberal feminists call for equality in rights and laws within existing institutions such as the military, parliaments, and the labor market, raising the slogan, "Give us the same opportunities and we will prove ourselves." Yet they have been criticized for seeking equality on men's terms without challenging patriarchy itself. Radical feminists argue that women's oppression is global and that patriarchy controls women's bodies and labor through violence and subjugation. Statistics remain shocking. According to the United Nations, 1 in 3 women worldwide experiences physical or sexual violence in her lifetime. Fewer than 40% seek help, and fewer than 10% turn to the police. Cultural feminists emphasize the differences between men and women, arguing that women are more caring and peaceful and that the world needs feminine values. Marxist and socialist feminists combine class and gender analysis, pointing out that women are disproportionately represented among the poor and carry the burden of most unpaid labor in the home, which creates a double burden. Post-colonial and Black feminists criticize Western feminism for ignoring race and colonialism, stressing that the experience of a privileged white woman is profoundly different from that of a Black woman or one from the global South. Postmodern feminists reject generalizations altogether, highlighting the diversity and complexity of women's experiences depending on cultural and social context. At the heart of feminist analysis lies the distinction between sex and gender. Sex refers to biological difference, male or female, something we are born with. Gender, on the other hand, is a social construct, a set of roles, expectations, and stereotypes imposed by society on men and women, such as men being seen as strong and providers, and women as emotional and homemakers. The crucial conclusion is that since gender is socially constructed, it can be changed and redefined in more equal terms. Gender profoundly shapes global politics. The so-called myth of protection claims that men protect women and children, yet the reality of contemporary warfare shows that 90% of victims are civilians, the majority women and children, and that 80% of the world's refugees and displaced people are women and children. Sexual violence is not an accidental byproduct of war, but rather a deliberate military strategy used to humiliate and ethnically cleanse, as seen in Bosnia, Rwanda, and other conflicts. Economic inequality also has a gendered face, often described as the feminization of poverty. 70% of the world's poor are women. Women continue to earn 20 to 30% less than men for the same work, and even when they work, they often carry the additional burden of unpaid household labor, caring for children, and maintaining the home. The COVID-19 pandemic revealed the vulnerability of women even further, as they were the most affected by job losses and by the increased responsibilities of unpaid care during school closures, deepening gender inequality. Globalization has also contributed to the feminization of the labor force, as multinational corporations seek the cheapest labor, often relying on women in insecure, low-paid jobs with minimal rights, such as in garment factories and the service sector. In response to these challenges, women's issues have become global issues. International conferences such as the Beijing Women's Conference of 1995, attended by 25,000 women, established a global agenda for women's rights. International agreements such as the 1993 Declaration on the Elimination of Violence Against Women rejected the use of culture or religion as justification for discrimination and abuse. Global movements such as #MeToo transformed the issue of sexual harassment from an individual matter into a collective worldwide struggle, challenging cultures of silence and impunity. In 2025, movements like Black Lives Matter continue to highlight the intersections of oppression based on race, gender, and class, drawing attention to police violence against Black women in particular. The conclusion is that gender is a key to understanding the world. International relations are not simply diplomacy between states or wars fought between armies. Gender is central to understanding who holds power and why the overwhelming majority of decision-makers remain men, who pays the price of war when women and children are its primary victims, who suffers most from poverty as women remain its majority face, and how global economies depend on women's unpaid or underpaid labor. Recognizing the role of gender is not only a matter of defending women's rights, but is essential for a more accurate and just understanding of world politics in all its complexity. Regards, Al Salam Channel, your companion in understanding international politics.